I just finished watching the trailer to My Oxford Year that's coming out on Netflix, and the trailer looks incredible. It's a teacher-student romance. I haven't really read any books with this trope in it, but I am excited to see how it's going to be on screen. That got me thinking about all the stuff that is coming out this year that are adapted from some of the most famous books. Obviously, The Summer I Turned Pretty, it's coming out in 17 days. I'm so excited. The first two episodes are airing. I wish all of them would air at the same time, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm so excited to see Belly and Conrad get their happily ever after. There's also the Thursday Murder Club that's coming out in August. The season 1 is airing on Netflix, and I'm excited about that as well. I read the books and it's one of my all-time favorites now. I can't wait for that. Then The Housemaid, another book that I read this month, is coming out at the end of this year on Christmas Day. So I can't wait to watch that movie. Speaking of all the books that I read in June, let's talk about what we're actually here for, which is for me to discuss about all the books that I read in June. I didn't read a lot of books as I was hoping to. I was on vacation for 2 weeks, so I didn't really read a lot during vacation. It's just 9 books, and I'm also going to be talking about my TBR for July. It's pretty heavy. I'm going to be covering a lot of the books that are on my physical bookshelf, so that's pretty exciting. The books that I read in June, the very first book is Such Charming Liars by Karen McManus. I was hoping a lot for this book because, before reading this book, I had read the One of Us is Lying trilogy, which was absolutely amazing. I gave 5 out of 5. The series is too good. I also watched the Netflix adaptation earlier this year, like the 2 seasons that are on Netflix. Kind of very different from the books. Like the second season plot is like completely different from the plot of the second book. So about Such Charming Liars, it's about this girl Kat who is a con artist along with her mom. And you guys, if you've been following me on social media, you might know that I happen to have a soft spot for con artists because, hello, this is Honestly Yours, the Webs We Weave series by Christian Becker Ritchie is one of my all-time favorites now. I cannot stop thinking about the series. Back to the book. So, Kat and her mom are 2 con artists, and they have decided that they're finally going to go straight. They're gonna stop conning, just like in that Dishonestly Yours. Anyways, here in this book, they decide that they're gonna go straight, they're gonna stop conning, but before they officially start leading normal lives, they have to pull one last con. And the last con is at this like really grand mansion where they're supposed to replace a ruby necklace with a fake. So Kat and her mom decide to join the catering staff or whatever at the mansion. When they go to that mansion, Kat ends up running into her stepbrother, who is there against his will because his father is dating one of the guests at the mansion. So he kind of came as a +1 along with his son. And he is kind of, his father, the stepbrother, I forgot his name. The stepbrother's father is also a con artist, but he's solely there for the purpose of, just dating her, or at least he's trying to make the son believe it. So he's there to keep an eye on his father and see that his father doesn't do anything wrong. Things kind of go into chaos when one of the guests at the party or living at the mansion is murdered. And Kat is also kind of like dragged into all this when she realizes that there is somebody trying to hurt her. So she has to figure out who killed this party guest and who's trying to hurt her. It's just all a whirlwind. I will say I did not expect the plot twist or anything. Whatever secrets were revealed, I did not expect any of them. But something about this book just fell flat. It wasn't the same like One of Us is Lying. I enjoyed the book, it was great, but not my favorite Karen McManus read. After this, I read an arc that I received earlier this year, which is A Most Unlikely Lady by Darcy McGuire. This is a historical romance, think along the lines of Bridgerton, and it's part of the Deadly Damsels series. The Deadly Damsels series is basically follows this group of women who are essentially spies for Queen Victoria, and each book follows each of these women and how they fall in love. So in this particular book, it's about Ivy Cavendale, who is the headmistress of the local orphanage. She is training to be a fighter, taking like self-defense lessons from the head spy. One day, somebody comes into one of the kids' bedrooms and tries to attack the kids. She steps in and she saves them. And she obviously has to report whatever happened to the police officers there so that, you know, they can take care of the situation. And when she does, she meets the guy who is kind of like the head constable of the police station or whatever. His name is Edward. I immediately started thinking about Edward Cullen, even though it's completely unrelated. I mean, he's like always stuck in there. She ends up talking to Edward, who takes it upon himself to protect her and the kids. He decides that he's going to disguise himself as a servant and live at the orphanage so that he can keep an eye on things. And he also enlists her to join him in searching for the attacker. So they have to like attend a bunch of events trying to figure out who the mystery attacker could be. So overall, I actually liked this book quite a lot. There's also spicy lessons involved. So he's teaching her stuff. That was nice, I guess. Anyways, the whole book was good. I enjoyed it. It's pretty short read. I mean, short for a romance novel, I'd say. After this, I read another arc, which was The Jackass in Class by Amy Award. Am I allowed to say that word? I'm not sure. This book is the 5th book in the Cocky Kingman series, and this series follows the Kingman siblings, and each book is about each of these siblings falling in love. They're all sports romances, by the way. And there's a really nice found family trope that's there in all these books. And this particular book is set in college. It's the story of Flynn Kingman, who falls in love with his classmate Tempest Navarro. These two take English class together. They are both big fans of Shakespeare, and he ends up needing tutoring lessons from her, even though he's very good at English. But he ends up partnering with her, taking lessons, and they obviously end up falling in love. And Tempest is kind of like, she has her own secrets. She's secretly a romance author who's written like best-selling books, and she has hidden this fact from all her friends and family. Nobody really knows about any of this. And she also has a baby donkey hidden in her sorority house that she knows like she's going to face serious repercussions if her landlord ever finds out about it. So she's juggling all this. She doesn't really have space for a romance in her life right now, but obviously Flynn worms his way in and shows her how supportive he is of her, how much he's in love with her. So it's a boy falls first trope. They're classmates. They are also, you know, college students. It's a really nice book overall. One of my favorite aspects of this book was the friendship between Tempest and her sorority sisters. They are so supportive of each other, and the elaborate plans that they come up with to hide this baby donkey is so hilarious. I just loved reading the book. It was such a good time all around. I cannot wait to read more future books in this series. After this, I listened to my very first audiobook, the very first time I've ever listened to an audiobook, and just the audiobook. I'm not even talking about like listening to the audiobook while reading the physical book, which I used to do before. No, this time I was just solely listening to the audiobook. I did. And the audiobook that I picked to listen to is First Time Caller by BK Borison. I've heard about BK Borison for a long time. I've heard bookstagrammers rave about her book Love Light Farms. That entire series people were talking about a lot. Then this First Time Caller came out and I read the premise of the book and it was so interesting. And this is part of the Baltimore series or something like that, where each book in the series is supposed to kind of represent an old classic romantic film. And this one I think is supposed to represent Sleepless in Seattle. I haven't watched the movie, but I did listen to the book and enjoy it a lot, like honestly. So the book is a dual narration, which means that all the chapters from the guy's point of view is read by a male audio narrator, and all the girl's point of view is read from a female narrator. And it was such a good experience. Like, I even put up a picture just to show you what I looked like when I was listening to the book. It's basically about this woman Lucy, who is a single mother and a car mechanic, and she hasn't really dated in a long time, something that even her daughter has noticed. So her daughter takes it upon herself to fix her mom up with a date and try to get her mom her happily ever after. She ends up calling into the Baltimore's romance hotline, and she tells the host of this hotline that she wants to set up her mom with someone. And the host happens to be none other than Aiden Valentine. And the guy who did the voice for Aiden, it's so good. Like, I should listen to more audiobooks. I don't know why I don't. So essentially that's the plot. And Lucy is kind of furious at first that her daughter would do something like this, but then she gets an offer from the radio station saying that, you know, we'll help you find your happily ever after, we'll set you up with dates as long as you host this romance hotline along with Aiden. So she gets roped into it, and obviously as she and Aiden are doing this romance hotline thing and trying to find dates for her, she ends up falling in love with him. And this book was so good. I loved it so much. It was so cute and adorable. And my experience for like listening to an audiobook for the first time was also really great. After this, I finally read my first Frida McFadden book, which I spoke about earlier in the video, and that's The Housemaid. The movie adaptation of this is coming out later this year, and The Housemaid was so good. For those of you who are not familiar with the plot, it's about Millie, who's had a rough life, and now she's trying to look for a new start. And this new start comes in the form of being the housekeeper for the Winchesters. And you know, she's trying to make ends meet, so she agrees to the job and she moves into the Winchesters mansion. But when she gets there, her employer Nina Winchester starts treating her really badly, and the only person who ever kind of offers her comfort is Nina's husband Andrew. And as she's living there, she kind of starts noticing all these strange things happening, like Nina's behavior, her daughter's behavior. It's all just very weird and suspicious. Things just get even more crazier as you read the book. So I don't want to spoil anything, but that's pretty much the plot. And at first this book is pretty slow, like it's just her doing her job. But then things really do start getting crazy as the book goes on. And this book is surprisingly short. I finished it in like a day. I enjoyed this book a lot. I've been trying to convince my dad to read it as well. But we'll see. He hasn't really found the time to pick up this book yet, but I'm hoping he will. That's for The Housemaid. I read Caught Up by Navasa Allen. I read Lights Out earlier this year, which quickly turned out to be one of my favorite dark romances. It's hilarious and spicy and dark, obviously, but it was so good. Like, I've never read a dark romance quite like this one, and I was eager to pick up Caught Up, but it just didn't hit me in the way Lights Out did. Like, I was hoping a lot from this book. It's about this guy, Junior, who ends up falling in love with his high school classmate, Lauren. So it's kind of a second chance romance. She is like an adult entertainer, if you know what I mean, and he is in the mafia. So something really bad happens in high school and they end up falling out, and it takes them 10 years to reunite again. And when they reunite, I don't know how to explain this, like, just, yeah, it's just that, like, after 10 years they meet again and they kind of have to deal with everything that happened in the past and then try to figure out how to make their relationship work now. So that's pretty much the plot of the book. Again, it's dark. There's like a whole list of trigger warnings. It's really long. It was a good book, but it wasn't as good as Lights Out in my opinion. But I am going to read the third book in the series for sure. I mean, at the end of the book, you kind of find out who the couple is going to be. I can't wait to read that book. After this, I read my two most favorite murder mystery books ever. Like, these are up there in top fives for sure. And that is the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. It's hard to believe that this was his debut novel, but it's so good. This series is about 4 people living in a retirement village, and they meet every Thursday to solve cold cases together. Then one day an actual murder happens quite literally at their doorstep, and they obviously have to get involved to solve the case. And it's so funny in an underhanded way. Like, the humor is like quiet humor, and the way this book is written, it's as if the narrator is telling the story to you, so it's like second POV, I guess. It was just so good. The plot twists in this book and the end reveal of who the murderer is, I did not see it coming at all. This book has like a very nice way of tying all the loose ends together. So if you think like there are plot holes at the beginning of the book, it's all like resolved by the end. So I like that, like everything is packed in a neatly like wrapped package. So I just loved this book so much. Obviously, I loved it so much. I have the second book. I read it. It was so good. This book literally picks up the Thursday after this book ends. So like the mystery ends here, then literally the next week there's another mystery for them to solve, and this one gets even crazier. And again, I love this book so much. I really don't want to talk a lot about this book. I'm hoping you guys will love this book enough to pick up this one, and I'm telling you, this is one of my top 5-star reads of this year, so you should definitely pick up this book. Out of all the books that I'm talking about in this video, this is the one I think you should pick up. After this, I read the final book in June, which is Fan Service by Rosie Danan. It's been a long time since I read a Rosie Danan book. The very first book I read of hers was The Roommate, which was way back, like a long time ago. And after that, I'm only picking the Fan Service now. And I picked it up because I was just in the mood for something light and funny. And this book delivered. It's about this actor, Devin, who is famously known for playing this werewolf character on a detective TV show. And he ends up turning into a werewolf in real life, and he doesn't know what to do about it, so he contacts the only person who can help him, and that person is Alex. Alex is this girl from this really small town in Florida, and he contacts her because she was famously known for writing summaries of the TV series. She's essentially his #1 fan, and he ends up contacting her, requiring her help, and she reluctantly agrees, and that's how their story begins. And after that, it's mostly that she's trying to help him like shift or whatever. There's like a lot of werewolf related terminology in this book that I thought was pretty fun and quirky. This book is entertaining. It's not like anything profound or great. I loved the book that I read in May, which was called Loving a Vampire's Chaos. I thought that book was hilarious. This book is also great, but I thought the ending of the book was a little flat. I don't know, like I was expecting a little something else and it didn't end in the way I thought it would. That's all for all the books I read in June. Now let's talk about all the books I read in July. You know, I wasn't kidding when I said that July's TBR is heavy, because look at how fat these books are. Like, this is what I'm expecting to read this month. I mean, I hope I can cover all of these books, because these books have been sitting on my shelf for a really, really long time. Let's go through this one by one. The first book I have is 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. I bought this book at a book fair, so it's like secondhand. Book fairs are a great place to buy secondhand books for pretty good prices. I picked up this one and I have to read this book now because the second season of the Amazon TV series adaptation just came out. I need to watch the series, so I have to read this book. That's pretty much it. The plot, as far as I know, is about 9 people who attend this like spiritual retreat or something in a forest, and then secrets start coming out. Then I have the whole Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score that I want to read. These are a series of small town romances. Each of these books obviously follows a different couple, and this series has been on my TBR for the longest time and been on my bookshelf even longer. I'm hoping to do a reading vlog of this series because I remember the very first YouTube video that I posted, somebody had commented asking me if I could review the books in this series. And I know it's pretty late, like a whole year later, but I'm still gonna do the reading vlog nonetheless. So the 3 books in this series are Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and Things We Left Behind. I can't wait to read the series. I've heard such good reviews. Then I have a classic on my TBR this month, which is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Again, I'm hoping to do a reading vlog of this, you know, first time reading a classic and all. The thing is, I first wanted to read a classic when I was in 5th grade. I, for some reason, thought that I could read David Copperfield in 2 months for my English project, because I'd read like an abbreviated chapter of it earlier that year. And I dragged my dad all the way to the bookstore and made him buy that book for me. And when I came back home, I realized it was a mistake. The text is so tiny. It's incredibly small. And I was like, there's no way like I can finish this book. And I ended up picking some like Geronimo Stilton book to read for my English project. Long story short, I still haven't read the book. It's been 9 years. And what I ended up doing was buying more classics. I bought this and Jane Eyre, but I am planning on reading Jane Eyre for another upcoming video. So I didn't want to read that, so I picked up this one. And this is supposed to be the OG enemies to lovers romance, right? Like, how wrong can it go? So I'm hoping to read this book this month and do a reading vlog of it. Maybe I should start with this book itself, get things rolling. I'm going to be reading this book this month. And another book that I want to read is another romance, which is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I read the first 2 books in the series earlier this year, and I just want to finish this book. Most of the good reviews I've heard about the series are for this book. People have said that the relationship in this book, everything about it is really, really amazing. These reviews have convinced me to just directly pick up the physical copy to read. I'm gonna read this book. Then next I have the whole Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I first heard about this book on Haley Pham's channel. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. She spoke about this book quite a lot on her channel, saying that it's very similar to the movie Knives Out, which is one of my favorite movies. I was like, great, I'll pick up this book then. This book has been on my shelf for a long time, so I'm hoping to read the entire series this month. There are like 4 main books in the series, which is Inheritance Games, The Hawthorne Legacy, Final Gambit, The Brothers Hawthorne. So that's pretty much it for my July TBR. Actually, wait, I have 2 more books. I ordered the paperbacks for them, they haven't arrived yet. And those 2 books are The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. She's one of my favorite authors. I loved the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, so I really want to read this one. And I also want to read Rewinded Back by Liz Stomford this month. It's the final book in the Windy City series, and I've put it off long enough, so I'm gonna order a paperback of that as well. I want the entire series on my bookshelf, so I'm gonna order the entire Windy City series. I can't wait to finish the entire series and read that book. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye. Also, let me know if you have planned your TBR for July. I would love to know what books are on your checklist this month. Bye.